Hello everyone, it's AK with AK's Garage, and as you can see, have the valve cover off over there. This is the Infiniti. So like I said, I wanted to check the valve train, make sure the valve train over here was good, and I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side here. Check the valve train for here, make sure it's good, make sure everything checks out, and we're getting ready to remove this radiator right now. Gonna get this radiator out. You can see down in there it needs to be cleaned. That's a cooling issue. I don't know if you can see that down in there. You see all that trash in there? That's gonna make it run hot. So anyway, we're gonna pull this radiator out. Of course, clean that off the radiator, and then start pulling off this front cover. So that's what we're gonna be doing right now. So right now I'm about to pull this bolt out right here that attaches right here. So I'm gonna pull this bolt out because that's attached to the radiator. We're not disconnecting the AC line. We don't want to mess with that. We just want to get the radiator out. So right here, we gotta take this one off here to get that out, and then it's another one over here on this side over here, right there. So we're gonna get that one out, and once we get that out, the radiator is already drained. Then I'm gonna pull this up out of here to get to that, and then we're gonna start coming across this front and removing the front to get to the chain, because like I said, this side makes noise. So I'm expecting a bad guide, which will take the timing out, and if it slipped, if that guide is bad, the chain can move, whatever. And yeah, so yeah, this is AK. Let's get to work. So I already have this stuck in here. We're gonna go ahead and start trying to get this pulled out, get this bolt out of here. Okay, so I'm gonna work on getting this guy out of here. See, get that out of there. Disconnect that from that radiator right there. Looking at it from this angle here, when it comes out of there, it probably would try to fall. So I have my magnet handy to try to catch it. Try to catch it right in here. Get a magnet on that bolt. That, my friend, is how it's done. See that? That way you want to drop it. So once you pull this radiator out, throw that bolt back in there where you know where it's at. Okay, so I have this one out, and over here we have this one out. See here, this one's out, and then there's one here, right here, and there's also one here, and then I also got to pull off this this upper hose here, and the same thing on the bottom there, that hose right there. Pull that one off, and then this radiator be ready to come straight up out of here, and then we get that out of our way. So I need this extra room here to be digging down in here. So this is the main reason why I'm taking this off. So let's go ahead and start pulling this hose off here and getting these two bolts out. This bolt here, it's like a 12 or a half or something like that. This half right here fits really good on there. So it'll be a half. Yep, see, be a half. On this, stop using just this wrench and get my electric ratchet. Here we go. Put the electric on there. Stop playing around. Like I said before, once you pull that out, put these bolts back in the same spot. That way you know where they're at. Okay, so I went to pull this hose right here off, and as you can see, this radiator's had its days of getting numbered. See that? And the radiator's still working, but that means that this plastic here is really tender. So you could just probably barely bump this and then ruin this whole little neck. You know, you could probably carve back this little hump right here and get the holes to come back a little further. See, you carve this plastic right here off, this little hump. Like, I don't really know what that's there for. Maybe that's for strength right here. But if this breaks off, you can always carve this back a little bit and still have room to grab some more of this here. It is just to extend your radiator a little bit further before you're able to buy another one, you know? But anyway, this means that it's tender. It means he's about to crack somewhere else possibly. So also we have to remove the bolts that's down. One right, this one, he needs to come out, that one there. And then you come around here, look into the grill area. You see that one right there? And then there's one right above it. One right above it. Those two need to come out too. Like right here. Those there. That one. Then over here on this side here, same thing right there. Needs to come out to get the radiator out. Drill that bolt out down there. And I had the magnet on it and it still fell down. Son of a. So anyway, it's this one right here. Just screwed that one out and it fell down. See if I can find it down there. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so you see I got this side kind of out a little bit there. So down here on this one, I don't know if you can see it here. There's a hole right there, that one. Just push it through with your finger pretty much to release this cover here. From there, so this side here is completely disconnected over here, but over here we have this part right here. I don't know if you can see it there. See, put your eyes down there for it. Okay, so if you look down there, you see you have this metal part coming out, but you have another one right there. That one right there is the one you got to get out, and it's kind of locked in there. You got to kind of get it past the lock a little bit. And then push it up. That'll disconnect it from this, the radiator. Okay. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm gonna get that popped up to get this to come up and back and out this way, and then that'll release the radiator. And I still have to pull that bottom hose off down there, but that's nothing. Okay. If you look down there, you can see now that it's disconnected there. So that's off. Everything there is off down there. So now all I gotta do is pull off the bottom hose down here. And once I get that bottom hose off down there, then the radiator is gonna pop out. Okay, as you can see, I got the radiator out. And I thought it was fully drained, but it's still drained more down on the ground. Should have been, I let this drain for a minute and there's still a bunch in it. So anyway, radiator is out. Let's move on. All right, you see radiator is out the way, and you can see these components and everything. So what I'm gonna move on is to take off next. I'm gonna take off this tensioner here. I'm gonna take off this pulley here. Take this off, get this out of my way. Set it to the side, and then I'll move on and so I'm taking some of these other bolts out down here. So like right down there, that part, right in that area right there, there's a bolt behind that. I'm gonna get that one out of there. What else here? The main thing is behind this big pulley here, behind this one here, behind this cover here, that's all timing chain. It goes down to there and then back up to over here. So we're going to remove this pulley, we're going to remove this pulley, eventually remove this water pump. Okay, and there's going to be a few other little pieces here, a few tins and stuff like that. We're going to remove those, get all that out of the way, and yeah, let's do it. You know, I wonder if somebody been in here. But look at that right there. See that bolt that's not tightened up right there? That's the atomic cover bolt right there, that one. I don't know if you can see that. That's not, see it? See, it's not tight. That's the atomic cover. I wonder what happened, why that's not tightened down. Somebody forgot to tighten it down maybe? Anyway, you see that there? just not tightened down. Got to remove this pulley. We got a bolt here, a bolt behind this. So you got to take this bolt out, and there's another one behind it. And then down here, you have these here. That needs to come off. That's what's going to take this right here off, get it out of the way. Also, this AC compressor bolt back here. There's one right here that needs to come out because this is attached to this this thing here. When you look at this, it's a lot of pieces that need to come off. A lot of things have to come off for this. This job is not cheap to do this at all. So, and this might not be for somebody trying to do it that don't know what they're doing. You know, I've done a lot of timing chains, a lot of timing on a lot of cars. You can see that on some of my videos. I have some videos that I didn't even put up, you know, or some of them I didn't even record. So keep that in mind, that this is a lot of pieces that have to come apart. How about I was taking the pulley off, and the spacer that goes on the back of here, it goes right here. There's a spacer on the back. Pulled it off, the spacer fell off of here, off this bolt. How about it fell down in the hole right there? You think I could do that twice? 3 times? Maybe? You think I could strike that again? So anyway, it's at the bottom of the antifreeze right there. Okay, as you can see, have this bolt out, that one out, that one out, this one out, and then that one for the AC compressor right here out. So now, should be able to kind of slide this out there. Alright, see? You see, keep all the bolts, everything together. We got to get that spacer back, but everything's sitting here. Okay, so one of the next things I'm going to remove, I'm going to get this cross tube here for coolant. This goes down to your heater, oil cooler down there. So I'm going to get this one right here off, get that out of my way. It's going to be a little antifreeze come out of there. This bracket right here that's connected to the alternator, that bracket needs to come off. Of course, this pulley needs to come off. And then once we get this bracket off here, and this coolant hose off here, we'll start to work our way up and start to get these other pieces off up here, because this hose here is in my way, so I'm going to have to move this. This hose is in my way right here. I'm going to have to move that. And then some of these itty bitty screws in here, these 10s. Also, this is the timing cover bolt here, so that's one of them that can come off. This needs to come off and slide up out of there so it don't get caught. This bracket here needs to come off with this hose. So this bracket right here come off, and all of this all the way up to here, that has to come off. Okay, get that out of the way. Over here on this side, I was trying to show you earlier, there's a bolt behind here that needs to come off. There's a bolt behind here that needs to come off, at least screw it out. Those two, that's screwed into the timing cover. Okay, so it's a few more. This right here needs to unscrew from there, pull back to the side. So we're going to start, I'm going to get that tube off, remove that bracket right there, and yeah, and then also remove this here. All right, as you see, this bracket here, I have that unscrewed. I put the bolt back into that spot right there, see it? Same thing up here, put the bolt back in, but this is loose, so we're gonna take it off over here, and then also right here, take it off, get it out of my way, put this pipe, this cross tube off to the side. As you can see, I have that bracket out, put the bolts back in that spot, we know where they at. You can see here, it's the same thing. They're back in that spot, so we know where they at. And then those other holes there, that goes to the part we already pulled apart, and those bolts are already sitting there with that part. Over here, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and try to get this hose taken apart here, and also up here. And then we'll start moving on to going to the top. Get this off. It's loose enough to pull this off. Like I said, it's going to leak some antifreeze out once I pull this off. Give me a second here, see if I can do it with one hand. I don't think so, but give me a second here. Okay, so this hose here is for the antifreeze. There we go. Yep, it makes a mess. It's messy. Don't think it's not. It is messy. All right, so I have the two covers. You could call these inspection covers or whatever, but these two covers are off. This one here, when I grab the chain on this one here, you can see the chain is in there. The chain on this one is really tight. I could barely move it with my fingers. Like, see, like I'm wiggling it. Nothing, right? But on this one here, you can see in there. See the chain in there. This one here, when I put my hand in there, here. See how much I'm moving that? I think so. On this one here, it also has a little more slack in it when we talking about. I don't know if you can see that. See the chain there, but this side here feels a lot looser than this side. So if I come over here on this one and touch the chain here and try to move it, you can see that. You know, I'm barely moving it. Right? Come over here on this one, and I'll put it on here. Moving it out a whole lot more. If you can see it. This chain here moves a whole lot more. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, this one here moves a whole lot more on that side, which that's what I was expecting anyway. Expecting that this side was going to be loose. Anyway, this side here is loose. We're going after the tensioner, or we're going to go after the a guide in there. This side here is the side that I was hearing the noise. I was hearing the noise on this side, so that's the side I'm going to concentrate on. Of course, I have to take off the whole thing to get to this over here on this side. But yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Looks a little loose over here. We're going to try to take care of that. All right, so I have this bracket here out of the way because it's attached to the cover. So that's out the way. You see the cover is off already. And so now it's time to get this bolt here out, and this bolt here out for the cover. And then I have to move down to the bottom and remove everything from the bottom. All right, so I'm going to go down. I need to remove this alternator. I need to get this out the way. That way I could get to this bolt and this bolt here. I need to take those two out there in the cover. So I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to take this right here out so I can get this alternator out of my way. So I can get to those two there. Once I get those out, get those out of the cover. And I have to remove these two here. They're going to leak oil like crazy. So I got to prepare myself for that. And as you see how this bolt's coming up out of there. Got to get him. Gotta get him out. They're behind this. You can see this one from the front, but you can't see this one. So anyway, I need to pull that out to get to this one. This one over here, there's one at the bottom. There's one at the bottom over here, right up under there. Gotta get to that. So right now I'm getting ready to move this. So I get to these, and then we're gonna finish up on this bottom, which is gonna leak like crazy. So I'm just preparing myself for this leak. Okay, see the alternator's out of the way now. So this bolt here, I need to get out of that cover, and the next one is kind of hid back behind here a little bit on that bracket. It's back here. See it right there? That's the other one. And then we have this one here. So take those two there out, and that will free up this timing cover over there. Okay. See, I have that one out and that one out. So those two there, that one you see there, and the one you see there, that's in that cover. So that needs to be removed. So now I'm need to get the oil pan. An oil drain pan down here on the ground. So when I start to pull these two off, it'll catch that oil that's gonna hit the ground because it's gonna be a lot. So I'm just gonna proceed on to draining the oil also out of the oil pan, maybe. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna pop those off. They're gonna drain oil, and then we move on from there. As you can see here, like I said, I was gonna pull this off. It's gonna be a leaky mess. You see it leaking everywhere. That's exactly what's gonna happen when you're gonna pull this off, but you have to pull this off in order to get to those other bolts to remove that cover. So when you go to pull this off, make sure you have something set and ready to catch the oil, because it's gonna be a leaky mess. Hey, look, I get to the shop and look what I find. He's just standing outside front of my gate.